for anybody out there that doesn't know, I want to give a little commercial for these guys. Nace and Jordan Roberts, they're brothers. I met them shortly after their father passed away. And we met, I think, Nace and Jordan, we met, your father had passed away and you're running a machine shop. And I want to tell you some things I've got to know about these guys over the past 7-8 years, whatever, is they're super kind, they're super diligent, and they're running a machine shop that their father started. And they are resourceful guys. And so they've made products for the U.S. Army, for Tesla. They have a machine shop. It's first class, Mel. They're making great products for the U.S. military. So these guys are true patriots. And when the lockdowns began and on the quarantines and all that stuff we went through, when we came back to the store, if anybody remembers, we started seeing more and more synthetic meat on the shelves. So you go to the shelves and you're going, hey, I want to get some healthy meat for my kids today. And now you're looking at the label going, Beyond Meat? What's that? Is that a Bill Gates thing? Is this a real thing? Synthetic meat? Is that a real, what is this? And so there's new categories of food, this bioengineered food. And Jordan and Nace, it's probably Nace's idea, Jordan stole it or vice versa. But anyway, they're going, hey, we could take our machine shop and the precision way that we do things. We could retool it, re-outfit it, invest in hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment. And we could use our relationship that we have with Oklahoma ranchers, and we could ship meat to consumers that don't want to eat this bioengineered meat. And they could sell it in a way where it lasts a long time. So if we had a crisis or a problem or something that's unexpected, like we just saw in Jamaica, like we saw in Hawaii, like we've seen anywhere they're trying to put in a smart city, you could have meat that doesn't go bad. And again, I can't say enough good things about Nace and Jordan. And so I'll stop talking, Mel, but these guys are great people I've known for a very, very long time.
Well, I'm super excited also because I cannot stop watching things about the mRNA in the animals and the animals dropping dead in Belgium and what they're doing all over the world. It's way worse already, the war on farmers in the EU. But if people think it's not happening here and that there is a concerted effort for the multinational corporations that have basically made it impossible for ranchers, and there's less and less, like we have to reverse that. And that means supporting people like you guys. So let's talk a little bit about you two. Welcome to the Mel K Show. Thank you, Clay, for finally hooking us up. We are excited because I was just at the store and it doesn't even say where the meat is from anymore. It used to say like a product of Chile or a product of somewhere. Nope, nothing. It seems like they don't even care at all to tell us anything. So thank you guys for joining us and for coming. And let's talk a little bit about how you guys started this and how it's going.
Well, yes, thank you for having us on. You know, back during the pandemic, and everybody was standing in line with a face mask, and you couldn't find toilet paper to save your life. You guys remember that?
Hello, yeah. And you were in New York City at that time.
It was nonsense. It was that. And we were scrambling around. You know, my dad was always a guy that liked to be prepared, and he said, "Look, favors are prepared," you know, but he liked to pray a lot too, you know. And there was always a Saturday, you know, a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And he always had this quote. And one thing I want my son to do is to be better than me. And that was one thing our dad wanted us to be as well, because we're his legacy. But there's not a someday. And Clay Clark always says, if it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done. And so that is one of the main things we've learned from Clay. And so we realized that we got caught in a spot where we weren't prepared. We had the tools and the resources that we shouldn't have been left in that spot. So we did what everybody else did. And we went and we bought a deep freezer. We bought all the ramen noodles you could find and get your hands on. And we filled that deep freezer, you know, and then it wasn't very long after that. And we had a big power outage. And so we were out of power for like a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And so we realized real fast, all that money we spent on that beef, this isn't sustainable. We can't keep this long-term good in a freezer. Even if we had the generators, even if we had the diesel, if we can't go to the fuel pumps and get diesel anymore, if we can't get gasoline, then this is just kind of, we're going to be spinning our wheels. And so we're like, we need to figure out a better way to do things. So we had food insurance. You know, we have insurance for our cars. We have it for our house. I have it on my wife. I have it on myself. But Clay says you want to have a bad day, but not a bad life. That's why you have insurance. And so we're like, we need to make sure that we have food insurance for our families, whether it's water, good source of water and food that we can eat. And so we started diving in. We ended up meeting this rancher at one of Clay's events. and he was growing grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I've heard about grass-fed, grass-finished, but I didn't know a whole lot about it. He started telling me all the benefits from it. And I said, this is exactly what I want for my family. Hey, and this is what we're getting ready to start doing. I feel like you're a divine appointment right now for us. And so we started teaming up with this rancher, and he'd been going through a hard time. He had been losing money, hadn't been selling cows. The bank were coming after stuff. It is not easy to be a rancher or a farmer these days.
And he's what, 5th generation?
He's fourth generation.
Fourth generation.
Yeah. So it was passed down from his dad. I'll give you a couple of stats real quick. Back in the 1820s, over 72% of the American population were in farming and ag. If we jump all the way to 2025, can you guys imagine what it is currently?
I can. I know it's horrible.
I would guess 1%.
You are close. It's 0.5. But yeah. Yeah. So 99.5% of the American population is getting fed from the other 0.5% of the population. And they want to say that that's because we've become better at producing and all these things. And we know that there's a difference between that. And what me and Nace realize is that our food supply chain is very fragile, and it doesn't take much to kill that other 5%. And there's a quote that goes, if you control the food, you control the people. And me and Nace decided, hey, this isn't a spot that we want to be in. We want to make sure that we have choices, because if we don't have choices, we're going to do desperate things. And that's what you started seeing during the pandemic. People started they started making, desperate choices. They started doing things they wouldn't have done. I mean, even when they turned off the, what was it? They just turned off the EBT stuff.
Oh yeah, they have SNAP benefits, right?
Yeah. And so people started talking about going into Walmart and they're going to bring their steel-toed boots and all this stuff. Well, in reality, that's going to happen when that affects 42 million people at some time. I mean, if we don't continue to get shipments into the grocery stores every single day with those truck drivers or whatever, I mean, you're going to start seeing something, and you probably don't want to be in those places. And so me and Nate started freeze drying grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and it's from the whole cow, and it's not just from the scraps. So it has all the prime cuts. It has the ribeyes, the sirloins, the fillets, the New York strips, the T-bones. It has all that in it. And so this is something that we wanted, but it's raw. And so when we rehydrate it, it lasts up to 15 years in the package. You don't need a freezer. You don't need a refrigerator. You can put it in your pantry. You can put it underneath your bed,
In your pocket.
you can put it in your to-go bag. You can take 24 pounds of raw meat. And once we get done processing it, it's only going to weigh about 6 or 7 pounds. So people have this in their to-go bags. People are using it for disaster relief because it doesn't need to be in a refrigerator. And it just takes 10 to 15 minutes to rehydrate it. Obviously, you don't want to put a bunch of fluoride water on it with forever chemicals in it, right? but you would so we use spring-fed water and stuff when we're drinking all of our stuff.
Can you explain the ingredients? I know it's complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot of big words that's hard to read on here. It says grass-fed, grass-finished beef. That's it. That's all it is.
So no vaccines, right? No vaccine?
No, there's no vaccine.
No hormones?
There's no growth hormones. There's no antibiotics, and
no salt, no pepper, no preservatives.
no, and they don't have the GMO. So they're fed on the prairie, just how God intended them, 2,000, 5,000 years ago, and that's the way to do it. And so what we thought was going to be a product that was just for our family, people started coming to us and saying, how do I get this too? Like, can you make this for me, like on the side or something? And so we started talking to Clay. That I think this is a product that our whole group needs. So you guys need to bring this to market. And so we're like, okay. So we started going down that journey with Clay. We took our 40 years of manufacturing parts for NASA and those other people and started applying it to manufacturing products for you and for us and for our family, because I'm not going to make anything that my family is not going to eat. So everything that we make, it's going to be healthy. And the really cool thing, I don't know how deep you guys want to go into this, but when you start talking about grass-fed, grass-finished, I was talking to the ranchers, I was talking to Dr. Sherwood, but your omega-3s are your omega-3s and your omega-6s are at a 1-to-1 ratio. And once they take those to the feedlot and they get all the grains with the herbicides, the pesticides, the fungicides, and all those things, they can only have those in the feedlot, the cattle in the feedlot for like 90 days or something before their liver starts to explode. And so people want to go to the grocery store and buy beef liver that has been fed out on the food lot. Well, your liver is it filters out all those things. And cattle do a pretty good job because they got 4 stomachs, so they ferment their food and all that stuff. So it really helps. But even them themselves, they can't contain all that toxic stuff inside of them. And
So I have a really good quote.
yeah,
You are what you eat.
yeah, yep.
So how's business going? You've been working with Clay for how long now?
Well, we've been with Clay for
Oh man, it's we have several different adventures with Clay. It's probably been around 2016, maybe
yeah, something like that.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we ended up buying one of Clay's barbershops. So we own one of the franchises. Yeah, so we do.
I was wondering where it's.
So yeah. I mean, you guys look great. You're good to
Yeah,
the best advertisers for your own barbershop.
This is taking a lot of beef. So
Now, I want to throw this out real quick, too, for anybody out there. I'll put this on the screen. One thing that's, I mean, there's so many things I like about Nathan Jordan, but this is their website. It's Grid Down Chowdown. It's a family business, okay? And Jordan, can you tell us who this person is? Who is this person?
that would be Nace's lovely wife.
Oh, there he is. Family business. This is Nace's wife. And again, it's very simple. You can check out there. You want to use promo code MELK because you get a discount and you're supporting.
Actually, we're using code MEL.
Promo code MEL. Not melatonin, not melon, not black melon, just MEL. Promo code MEL. So what in the MEL? Promo code MEL. MEL. Use promo code MEL. MEL. That's where you go. But I'll just say, with Nace and Jordan and their business, Mel, as we were talking about, before we brought them on, we've got to be resourceful. And we have to have the mindset of like, if it's going to be, it's up to me. And I can just be very real with you, and I'll just be vague about the numbers. These guys have ridden through a storm of where the U.S. military, the Tesla, these huge companies are beating down their door wanting to buy manufacturing products. They're an American manufacturer, which is rare to find. It's hard to find American manufacturers. And Mel, as the American manufacturing has been outsourced to countries that are working impossibly cheap because they're subsidized by the Chinese Communist Party, right? So they keep year after year finding a new niche, a new product, a new thing that they can sell to the marketplace. Mel, think about how difficult it is. I don't even know. You said it was 0.5% of the population is producing food. What percentage of our population is manufacturing anything?
Not much more than that. It's interesting too. Before COVID, as you know, Clay and Rob, I was working with a farm out in near me and trying to create hydroponic feed for cattle and horses because of the what I was learning about that cows that feed on grass where there's pollutants that the soil and everything was so bad that it would take 2 days or 3 days after the cow ate for it to even cut through all the garbage till it was actually getting some of the nutrients. And then once it got to the plate, it was like barely anything that was meant to be for the human to feed us and to nurture, like all the nutrition was gone. And that's really because we need to do regenerative farming. We need to, fix the soil and all of that. But if you can find a farm that is doing the right thing and eating and they're grass fed that way, then you're getting like 3 times better nutrition than you would get on any other. And even if it says grass fed, it matters where it is grass fed. And I didn't really know that. I mean, they were looking for ways. This was also for racehorses because what they were getting by eating grass off the ground was sick, basically, and their bodies would fight for 3 days before any nutrients went into the cow. So I was like, what is going on? So I've been looking at this for a very long time. And then when I looked at the website and I thought, oh, this is what they were talking about, which is if you don't look at where they are grass fed, then you're not really getting grass fed beef. You have to actually know the farm. And in this scenario, you do know the farm. You are the friends of the actual farmer. So, I mean, that is important to know where your meat is coming from, where your cows graze. A lot of people don't think about it, but it is very important.
Now, Mel, I was going to interrupt one thing there, Nace. I wanted to make sure people get this idea because you guys are living out what we're teaching, So step one, it's like, if it's going to be, it's up to me. You're doing it. But step 2, 3, 4, 5, real fast here. You got to find a problem, which you guys clearly saw the problem. You're like, wow, the power went out and all of a sudden we can't feed our family. Find a problem. Step 2, you solve the problem. And by the way, it was not easy for you to solve the problem. If I may go into the minutia, you guys had to buy the equipment, research the equipment, retool the equipment, set up the equipment, test it. They were making meat for their own family going, wife, kids, family, see if you don't die. Eat this. And then as for eating your own stuff, they actually went on a carnivore diet and ate only the food for a long period of time before they rolled it out to the consumer. So again, you found a problem, you solve it. Step 3, you have to sell it. And that's a little bit embarrassing when you rolled out this product and you're like, okay, hopefully someone buys it because you got all the money invested, hundreds of thousands of dollars of tools, machines, people, employees. It's a lot that went into it. So you went out there and sold it. And then after that, you're nailing it and scaling it. So again, you say, what are those 5 steps? Step 1, if you say, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Step number 2, find a problem. Step number 3, solve the problem. Step number 4, sell that solution. And step number 5, Mel, you got to nail it and scale it. And that's what they're doing here. So I didn't mean to cut you off, Nace, but I want people to understand, you guys literally tested this product on yourself for a long time. And they went carnivore diet just so they could try it to see what would happen to their own bodies before they sold it. That is a true story.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to touch base with just what Mel K was saying. She was talking about the nutrients. This is actually freeze dried, so it's a lot different than actually dehydration. So we don't have to do preservatives in this meat. It's actually all we're doing is taking out all the moisture in a high compressor chamber, and so it leaves all the nutrients in there. So all your megas, your proteins, they're going to come back to life when you bring it back to life. And another thing that you said, Mel K, is actually, when we started this product, it was kind of interesting. We started a lot of people buying this product for their animals, for their dogs, for their cats, because if they do all the other, things that you can buy on the shelf that last for 10, 20 years, 30 years, has a lot of sugar in it, and they can't feed that to the animals or they'll die. So we started seeing people need this, people want it, but for the animals, and we created beef jerky for the people. And also, Jordan just created beef jerky treats for all the other animals with basically just raw beef.
Cool.
Right.
Great. Awesome.
And you were talking about grass fed. Well, kind of newsflash, all cattle are grass fed. And I think what you said is important. Where are they getting that grass at?
Right.
Is it getting sprayed glyphosate all over it? What is happening? And then 2, how are they finished? Because I was talking about the omega-3s and the omega-6s. They're at a 1-to-1 ratio on a grass-fed, grass-finished animal. And whenever you start going to the feedlot with all the GMOs, it starts going from a 1-to-1 to a 1-to-5, 1-to-15, 1-to-25. It goes really high. And so if you start seeing any blockages, that's why heart attacks are going through the roof. That's why strokes are going through the roof, because we've been taught we want to eat that corn-fed beef. We want that marbling. And there's just a lot of toxins in there. So this is the healthiest way to do it right here. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're excited to team up with you guys. And also, Clay has raved about just how much effort and energy you put in. When he takes people on, and you guys have been with him for a while, he doesn't stick around if you're not doing your part. And we just started working with him too. He's helping Rob and I with figuring out the future of what we do, because things are changing so much. And it's just really great every time that we talk to somebody that has been inspired and had their lives changed and improved by working with Clay. It reminds us how lucky we are, because we're also creating a community, and we are very like-minded. We all believe in God and family and country and liberty and freedom. And I think it's really important that when people spend their money to buy anything, particularly this great, amazing product, that they also think about, what, my money's going towards people that align with me. So that's why a lot of times with Clay, when I go to his conferences or anything like that, I'm surrounded by people that are absolutely positive, driven, and are really good people. So I'm really excited to start the journey with you guys. And anything else there, Rob?
No, I just number 1 is we have this event coming up December 4th and 5th. So Clay will talk about that. And now we've added a new partner, our freeze-dried beef, and there's a lot of applications for it. So you just go there, go to Grid Down, Chow Down. We will have it on our partners page in the next week or so. But if you want to go right now, Grid Down, Chow Down, and just put in the code MEL. They've got amazing products. It fills a lot of voids that, whether it's for prepping or it's for, or just having, a spare, beef around the house. If you like to camp or hunt or hike, as they were saying, for pets, it's
Yep.
really good because a lot of the pet food is garbage. So, so we appreciate you guys, partnering with us. And Clay, what would you like to say?
Well, I just wanted to say this real quick. That's probably an old school belief system I have. Maybe I'm just old school, but I kind of in my mind only like to work with people that I like and buy from people I like. And so I kind of view my life as a town. And in that town, we have a radio broadcaster, and I like her, and her name is Mel. And so I listen to the town radio show. And in our town, we have a guy we go to buy the beef, the town butcher. And that's where I go, Grid Down, Chow Down. And in our town, we have a precious metals guy that we can trust. And that's Andrew Sorcini over there at bh-pm.com. And I could list off all the companies. But what I'm saying is, I only work with people that I can trust, that have integrity. And so I'm just telling you, if you're watching today's show and you say, man, I need to be around good people, I want to share with you a story that happened at that last conference we did. And again, you can get tickets by going to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com, and you can look it up there. It's Anaheim, California, December 4th and 5th, December 4th and 5th. And then Mel, other note here, I want people to know this, we are going to bring back one Reawaken America event per the request of General Flynn and Eric Trump. So that's going to happen June 19th and June 20th. And for all of this, if you use promo code MEL, okay, when you buy it, use promo code MEL, you're supporting the program. But this is a true story. There was a musician who came to this last event. Very talented, by the way, kind of lost. And he said to me, can you look at the contract I got offered? Very talented. And in this very nefarious, Hollywoodish contract, it had all sorts of non-disclosures, Mel, and all sorts of gotcha language. And I said, this contract is a contract, my friend, that I would not sign. And he says, okay, do you know of anybody that would sign me? Because I'd like to make an extra $4,000 or $5,000 a month to be able to, I like the offer, but I don't like the deal. I said, no problem. And at the conference, true story, there was a Christian man who was in attendance who was looking to put a musician on payroll for $3,000 a month plus commissions to basically be like a creative music director for 10 hours a week. And just that kind of connection happens in the audience. And I can't take credit for that. I can just say the people were in the room. And the young man comes up to me. He says, so you wouldn't sign this deal? I said, no, sir. He says, do you know of anybody that would pay me $3,000 or $4,000, maybe $5,000 a month to do what I do? Because this was a really big thing in my life and I wanted to be able to support myself. And I go, I don't do that. But there was a guy I just talked to who literally came up to me and said, I am a Christian ministry and I'm trying to bring on a guy. I got a budget, $3,000 to $4,000 a month plus commissions. And I need him to work about 10 hours a week remotely to help me edit, audit, produce music. Do you know of anybody? And I'm going, yes. And so I'm just trying to make those connections. I think that's a big thing, Mel, that happens at the conferences. That's a real story. And that kind of stuff happens all the time.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. We are super excited about our new partners. And we are excited that people out there are going to get a chance to have real meat that is good for you as God intended. Finally, it's very hard to find these days. You don't know what you're getting. And this is not just from the actual farm that they get it from, but it comes right to you. And I am excited. And also, Clay, thanks for connecting us. And thanks for also coaching Rob to start helping us figure out the future of podcasting and truth telling out there as well. So thank you so much, guys. And thank you, Clay. We'll see you all again soon.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show, the good news and bad news about money. And today we have two very special guests. Like they're young enough to be my sons because they're Donald Trump Sr. and I are the same age. But we have Clay Clark and Eric Trump. But let me explain what Clay Clark does. Clay is out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's a hardcore educator of entrepreneurship. And, Clay, the best thing you can say about a teacher is what do their students do? And your students are kicking ass. And so to your congregation, I call it a congregation because what Clay Clark has out there is almost a church. It's a religious experience to talk about entrepreneurship and capitalism. And please tell your group, if you cut them, they bleed red, white, and blue. They're so hardcore capitalist America. You make America rich again and all that. So Clay, fantastic. So welcome to the show, Clay.
I really do appreciate you, Robert. And Robert, I want you to know all 77 counties in Oklahoma voted for Trump. So it is true. If you cut an Oklahoman, they will bleed red, white, and blue.
Yeah, they're solid, good people, you know. And both Clay and Eric, you guys are doing great work for people. So honored to have you as part of my program.
Thanks so much, Robert.
Yes. I got to ask, what's it like? There's no kings. What's happening?
I mean, obviously, Robert, we're going to talk about it in a little while. I wrote a book called, Under Siege, and the siege that they put us under is normally what kings try and do to people, not democracy. So I find it highly, highly, highly ironic. I mean, my father's created the greatest economy we've ever had. Brought inflation down to normal levels. I mean, under Joe Biden, the inflation was at 10%. I mean, median incomes was going up by about 3%. Inflation was going up by 10%. So everybody in the world was getting crammed down by 7%, unless you're one of the guys like us who own hard assets, right? But it was destroying everybody. Energy costs were destroying absolutely everybody. You couldn't find a 2x4 at a Home Depot, right? The supply chain problem run by Pete Buttigieg, who happened to take paternity leave while, you had hundreds of boats outside the port of LA, was crushing absolutely everybody. And you had wars all over the world. You'd never had any wars under my father. In fact, my father was the one guy who never got into war, but you saw what happened with Russia and Ukraine and how that war broke out. And you saw how the Middle East went from total stability under my father in his first term to total lack of stability. And you saw men my size start swimming in women's sports. And you saw DEI ruin every corporate, every company around the country. And you saw, these movements to defund law enforcement. And you saw absolutely anarchy. And we lost our respect. We lost the respect of America around the world. And it's really interesting. My father comes in, and what does he do? He restores democracy. He, first of all, has the popular vote. He wins every swing state, right? I mean, every state in the country went to the right. It was an absolute mandate. It was one of the greatest political beatings in the history of the country. And now we've got normal inflation. We've got the largest tax reduction in the history of our nation across the board. You know that better than anybody. You see, drill, baby, drill. It's working because energy costs are coming down tremendously. We're becoming energy, independent again. We're energy independent under my father's first term. And then we lost that because, Biden decided to cripple the energy industry. And now we're energy independent again. We're actually exporting energy for the first time again.
So anyway, the way Clay Clark and Eric and I got together was out in Tulsa. And, okay, so if you cut those, you cut your, I shouldn't call them a congregation, but it was real spirituality. Clay, your group are really spiritual, good, hardworking people. And that was fantastic. I just love them. So please hello them for me. And what you're doing out there is how we fight back. The reason Eric's father and I wrote 2 books together is we have to teach capitalism. We have to teach capitalism. And Clay, you're doing a great job of teaching capitalism. So what are you up to these days since I last saw you in Tulsa? Please hello to your congregation.
First off, Robert, I brought props for today's show. So this is prop number 1, okay? Robert, your book here, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Eric's read the book too, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but your Rich Dad Investor's Guide, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, your book actually changed my life. And I'm going to put this up here. You can take a screenshot. No, I'm serious. I read this book. Eric, I think your father required you to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad as well. And all I know is I read your book and I grew up without money. And I thought, you know what? I could go from an employee to being self-employed, to being a business owner, to being an investor. And I've done it. And along the way, I've met some great people. But if it wasn't for your roadmap, I probably would not be where I am today. And so I just want everyone to know you absolutely changed my life. And everybody needs to know that. Also, Eric's book, and I mean, this is not a shameless plug. This is real and it's shameless. Eric's book, in his book, he talks about how he runs a company while being perpetually under siege. And that's one thing in your book that I didn't get. And this isn't a criticism of your book. I just didn't recognize when you have hundreds of employees that every day you would be kind of under siege. Now, your home's not going to get raided by the FBI, and you're not going to be sued and subpoenaed. Eric is, I think, America's most subpoenaed person. But when you're self-employed, you are perpetually under siege. And Eric, in your book, you have an entire chapter in this thing devoted to talking about how you are a husband, a business guy, the son of the president, but yet you found a way to compartmentalize. Eric, could you explain that? Because to me, in this book, that's a life-changing chapter for somebody.
Yeah, listen, you learn to compartmentalize, not because you necessarily want to, because you learn you have to, Clay. You know, again, I thought when my father came to me when I was 33 years old and said, "Honey, I want you to run the company. You know, I'm going to go do something else. I want to run for president. I need you to run the company, and you're the right guy. You built all our assets. You managed most of our teams. You know, I want you to take it over." I thought I'd have this glorious life. I mean, especially after winning, of, hey, go run the hotels, go build the hotels, build the golf courses, and never did I ever think I was going to be exactly that, under siege. Never did I think I was going to get 112 subpoenas. Never did I think that they were going to try and bankrupt our company, come after us, leak all of our tax returns. The IRS leaked all my father's tax returns, all of my tax returns. 90 corporate employees, they leaked every one of their tax returns to the New York Times and to other media outlets. They made up the Russian dossier. They made up they said we had secret servers in the basement of Trump Tower communicating with the Kremlin. It was nonsense. They made up the dirty dossier, which was that my father was doing unthinkable things that he wasn't. Hillary Clinton was paying for that, and the Democrats were paying for that. Never did I think that we were going to get indicted 91 times for doing nothing wrong. Never did I think I was going to have a judgment of $600 million thrown on our company for paying off every loan, for making Deutsche Bank hundreds of millions of dollars, for lenders who came in and testified in the courtroom that we were platinum borrowers, that we were the best of the best, and that we were considered the golden whale. Everybody wanted our business because we were so good at what we did. Never did I think that was going to happen. Never did I think we were going to lose our First Amendment right, our freedom of speech. Never did I think that they were going to gag order us in every jurisdiction. Never did I think that they were going to come after us with every DA in New York, every DA and AG in Fulton County, Georgia, in Washington, D.C., and try and make our lives hell. And guess what, guys? You have to compartmentalize it. Clay, the question is, you don't have a choice sometimes. Sometimes you just have to fight certain battles. And that's what I had to do. I had to go out and I had to fight these battles. And thank God we won every single one of them. We won the indictments. We overturned the judgments. You know, we created our own social media platforms. You know, we beat these guys. And then we came back to have the most decisive victory in the history of politics in 2024. So not only did we win the siege, and not only did we beat them and survive what was intended to otherwise kill us, but we came back to win the entire thing, and the world's a better place because of it.
Well, I can't read your book, Under Siege, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, I know you and your brother intimately, like when you're sleeping on the sand and you're eating what you killed that day and there's no toilets and, you know, you're hot and stinky, and these guys do not ask for anything. And then you go to their home at Mar-a-Lago, like I said, went to Eric's wedding, and then they go to Trump Tower. It's, I hate to say this, Eric, you guys live like kings.
We're not kings. No kings. No kings. We're not kings.
And
I want nothing to do with politics. No kings.
But you guys definitely are. Capitalists is the big difference.
Yeah.
And that's what Clay teaches. I mean, Clay, what you're doing with your group out there is spectacular. So your father, Eric, we fight back by teaching capitalism. And that's what Clay's doing. That's what you're doing, Eric, and all this. So Clay and Eric, you guys are doing an event out in Anaheim or something?
Anaheim, California. It's thrivetimeshow.com. That's the website. It's thrivetimeshow.com. And for anybody, Robert, this is for your audience here. Anybody who does buy a copy of this book, Under Siege, if you text me proof of purchase to my cell phone, Robert, we're going to keep this private between you and Eric and me and your audience. This is my cell phone number. If they text proof of purchase to my cell phone number, they're entered in for a chance to win a backstage pass to the business conference. That's December 4th and 5th, Anaheim. It's Anaheim, California. And it's going to be a packed house. We'll have about 500 entrepreneurs there. We're going to teach you finance and marketing and sales and search engine optimization, everything you need to know to start and grow a successful company. Again, that website is thrivetimeshow.com. So you buy a copy of Under Siege right here, and then you text me proof of purchase, and you're entered in for a chance to win a backstage pass. And Robert, our events, they're $250 for a ticket, or whatever price that you can afford to pay. So if you're in a tight spot, we'll help you out too. So it's going to be a blasty blast. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. And at the last one, Eric broke down time management, promoting from within, finance, branding, marketing. It really is a profound opportunity to hear from somebody who runs a multi-billion-dollar organization. And I would describe the event, Robert, as life-changing.
One more time, when is it? And what's Anaheim and what time?
Yeah. Anaheim, California, December 4th and 5th. So the month of Christmas, December 4th and 5th. That's thrivetimeshow.com. Anaheim, California, December 4th and 5th, thrivetimeshow.com.
Okay, so when we come back, we'll be going more into, we fight back by getting rich. We fight back by being capitalist. And gentlemen, I'm honored to be part of the show with you today, because let's fight back with education. Let's teach people to get rich, because that's what we do here. So once again, Clay, tell us what's going to happen in Anaheim with you and Eric out there.
Well, I mean this sincerely. You know, Eric and I had a chance to connect because we did 20 some odd events together, these Reawaken America events. And, you know, when you're stage side talking to somebody before they go on the stage, Eric and I are talking about to-do lists, our incredible families, our great kids. We're talking about growing companies, promoting from within, and we're talking about management and all these sorts of things. And I think that a lot of times people think that Eric, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I think people think that Eric is this political figure. But I would say, Eric, I think you're most comfortable, hunting, growing companies, cheering on your team, cheering on our country. And I just thought, you know what? People need to hear that side of Eric Trump. And so I invited Eric to come to our business conferences. And people said to me, they said, Clay, I had no idea that Eric was running a multi-billion-dollar company with thousands of employees. And I said, yeah. And he started doing it at the age of 33. And by the way, his father was teaching him how to grow and to mold him into that role. Starting at age 12, Eric's working on construction sites. He's cutting rebar at the age of 13. He's building walls at the age of 14. So really, when you come to our workshops, what you're going to learn is Eric does a phenomenal job teaching about just the brass tacks of time management, does a great job talking about managing an organization, and then does a great job casting a vision for your business and for our country. I mean, even despite the fact our country's under siege, Eric, your father is building a big, beautiful ballroom and paying for it himself. So despite the fact you're under siege, you still have this great vision for America. So if you're watching this right now and you feel stuck and you're going, I don't know what poor choices I've made, but somehow I found myself on thrivetimeshow.com. I'm telling you, buy a ticket and your life is going to change. Just like your book, Robert Kiyosaki, your book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Changed My Life. I promise you these interactive, 2-day interactive business workshops can change your life. And although as a country, we're going through a lot, and it can be heavy, Eric does a phenomenal job of teaching you how to navigate being under siege while doing it with a smile on your face and having a great vision for a great America that I believe we can build together, one business at a time.
And let me add one more thing. It's like our problem is academics. It's the Marxists who run our school system. I don't know if you know this, but the Federal Reserve Bank teaches finance at Harvard. And the Fed is one of the, I have some comments about the Fed. But anyway, I was on stage with Charlie Kirk in Phoenix, Arizona, at Arizona State University. And it was the professors that came after us. So here's this young guy, Charlie Kirk, was he 31? Somebody takes him out. You go, holy mackerel. It could have been a school teacher who've gone so far left Marxist. I wrote a book called The Capitalist Manifesto. And what I found out is in 1930, Columbia University's Teachers College invited, from the Frankfurt School in Germany, they invited professors who teach Marxism to Columbia University's Teachers College. So that was in 1930. And actually, the class of 66 in Vietnam were protesting those Kent State. Protests broke out all over the world. They hate America. They hate us. My poor dad was an academic. And what he hated was that a guy like me, or my rich dad especially, my rich dad never went to school, but he was a rich man. And all an academic has is a PhD. When you think about the vast differences, plus you have AI coming in right now, and all those, doctors and lawyers and all that, they're going to lose their jobs. So what Clay, you're doing, what Eric, you guys are doing, we have to teach capitalism. We must teach entrepreneurship. This is my book here, Midas Touch, about teaching entrepreneurship. We fight back with education because our education is rotten, it's cancerous right now. Any comments there, Eric?
Listen, I think that's right. I think that's absolutely right. You look at the indoctrination of these kids across college campuses is insane. You look at the revisionist history that they're teaching. They're literally rewriting the history books, right now. And they hate who we are and they hate what we stand for. And what breaks my heart about that, Robert, is we live in the greatest, capitalistic country in the world. We have the greatest entrepreneurs in the world in America. I mean, I want to put this in perspective. Our economy is a $32.5 trillion economy, and we've got 340 million people. China is a $22.5 trillion economy, and they've got what, 1.5 billion people roughly. Estimates vary. They track it a little bit less, but roughly 1.5, 1.6 trillion, billion people. So we effectively have an economy that's a third larger, that's $10 trillion larger off of a population that's 1/6 the size. We are the greatest capitalists in the world, right? But how do you get to be a great capitalist? And first of all, you need the right mentality. You need to be pushed. You need to be educated. You need to have low energy costs, right? Obviously, low energy costs really factor into everybody's business. You've got to have reasonable regulation, right? You can't over-regulate companies, otherwise they fail to be able to exist. Hence, Europe and how poorly Europe is doing because they say no to absolutely everything. You have to have proper tax code. Why do you have to have proper tax code? Because you have to be able to thrive and you have to be able to succeed, and you want to actually have companies want to stay in America as opposed to go abroad where they might have more favorable tax treatment. All of these things are necessary, and all of these things my father is doing. We can never lose our ability to be the number one superpower in the world. We can never lose the United States dollar as a reserve currency of the world. No one wants any of the Asian currencies. Guess what? They all want the US dollar. No one wants the euro. No one wants a pound. You know what they want? They want the dollar. No one wants any of the currencies in Africa. They all want the US dollar.
Well,
and we can never, ever give that up. And listen, you can never allow college professors to indoctrinate our children, to say that they're anything less than the best, to say that America is anything less than the greatest country on earth, right? You just can't allow it to ever happen. That will defeat America faster than you could possibly imagine. And so Charlie fought back, and we fought back. And what's amazing, they thought they could kill Charlie Kirk, right? And I talk about this in the book. Charlie was a good friend of mine. And by the way, Charlie's death was them putting us under siege. They thought they could kill Charlie and take a voice off the stage. What they actually did was they took 5 decades of voters and they made sure that those voters voted conservative because they lost one of their heroes that day. And you think those people are ever going to vote for the radical left who killed their icon? Of course not, right? We need to make sure that we educate our kids, both in the classroom and as to the actual realities of society and the realities of government, and make sure that we win every single election for every single position and make sure that America remains a superpower of the world. Otherwise, this country's got no hope. Otherwise, our greatest days were behind us. And I refuse to allow, myself to believe that that's the case. And we refuse to allow America to get there.
Well, and that's why I love what your dad did with the Genius Act and stable coins and all that. I don't know if people know what you're doing. I mean, you and your family are leading in with crypto. But I thought the Genius Act was pure genius.
Sure, because guess what? Stable coins, Robert will get every dollar from every foreign country on the US dollar and do so instantaneously, right? I mean, that's the beauty. If you live down in Zimbabwe, you have over 1,000% inflation every single year. You go to work, you get a paycheck, that paycheck is gone the next day because of inflation. Congratulations. Now using a nifty little thing called an iPhone or whatever, any flip phone, you can have a digital asset wallet. You can convert whatever, your paycheck was to US dollars vis-a-vis stable coins that can be traded 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with virtually zero fees. America will absorb trillions and trillions of dollars worth of wealth. And by the way, a stable coin is pegged 1-to-1 against, it's the dollar pegged to 1-to-1 against, things like short-term treasury bills, et cetera, et cetera. So what does that do? That takes trillions of dollars into the American market. What my father is doing is actually saving the United States dollar, embracing cryptocurrency. Yeah. Before you even talk about Bitcoin and using it as the greatest store of value, I really believe that Bitcoin is, I know, Robert, you're the biggest proponent of gold, and I'm the biggest proponent of digital gold. I think Bitcoin will replace gold, in the years to come. I think those are some of the two of the greatest hard assets that are out there. And you've seen the run up in price of gold, and you've seen the run up in price of Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's compounded 70% a year over year for the last 10-year period of time. So I'm fully in crypto, but the Genius Act and all of the crypto legislation has put us as the #1 country in the world for cryptocurrency,
Genius
and
Act,
everybody's
wait a
trying to follow.
I speak at the Vancouver Resource Conference, and I'll speak at the New Orleans Gold Mining Conference. And I have good news for those guys at Vancouver and New Orleans Resource Conference, because the Genius Act is going to make the gold guys even richer. I mean, what your father did, the Genius Act is frickin' genius. Really, really genius. And the average protester out there, like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they're clueless. They don't know what the Genius Act is going to do for world prosperity. So that's why I'm very optimistic, and I'm glad your dad and your family has taken the lead in crypto.
Well, Robert, none of these people have ever had jobs, right? I mean, you look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden has literally been. I mean, he was in government for 56 years, right? I'm a 41-year-old guy, so that guy was in government 15 years longer than I've been alive, and I've got gray in my beard. He never had to manage employees. He never had to balance a checkbook. He never needed to make payroll. He never had long sleepless nights not knowing how he was going to survive the next day. He never had turmoil. He never had government shutdowns during COVID where they called me up and said, congratulations, every one of your hotels is hereby closed. You still have real estate taxes to pay. You still have utilities to pay. You still have, employees to pay. You still have, all your bills and expenses, other than the fact you're missing one thing. It's a little thing called revenue. They've never had these situations, yet they're the people who legislate, the very laws that govern how our businesses in our country work. And they don't have a damn idea how our businesses work.
What you're doing out in Tulsa is stunning, solid entrepreneurship. So congratulations on that. And we fight back with, educating people to be entrepreneurs to get rich again. Otherwise, they're going to say this, you owe me a living, who's that Marx is running for city mayor of New York City. He's going to give everything away to the poor people. And again, the last thing is this: watch what a person does, not what they say. Your father put the wall up. Biden took the wall down. So where's the battle right now? ICE offices. It's all they're trying to get is immigrants out of there. I'm not against immigration because I'm an immigrant, not five generations ago. But it's killing it's killing England. It's killing Germany. Just allowing people to come in and just take over a country is nuts. So I appreciate you. One more time, Clay. When's this?
Yeah, well, first off, everybody, if you buy a copy of Under Siege, and I know you're going to, you want to text my number, 918-851-0102, for a chance to win a backstage pass for the upcoming business workshop, December 4th and 5th in Anaheim, California. Eric's book, Under Siege, I promise you, folks, it's a life-changing book. And I mean this sincerely, Robert Kiyosaki. Your books have changed my life. And I know Eric's read them. I've read them. And I'm honored to be here on your broadcast with you. And I want Eric to know this. Eric, Robert has been talking a lot about crypto and gold now. He's doing the crypto and gold move. He's going crypto and gold. So I really am excited, though, to meet your listeners there, Robert, in beautiful Anaheim, California, December 4th and 5th.
Yeah. And one last thing about Eric. I think your father's going to go down in history as one of the greatest presidents ever.
I do too.
So proud of him. I'm proud of all of you.
Yeah,
so I'm proud of the two as young men, and miss Charlie Kirk, but we're under siege, really. So thank you.
Thanks for having us on, Robert.
Thank you. Welcome back, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. I want to thank Clay.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas, and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees.
Since I've been working with you, I would say from maybe 2 a week to probably close to 20 a week.
Repeat that one more time. You went from how many leads to how many leads?
2 a week to 20 a week. And that's calls in our office, real calls. The name of the company is Roof Angel. We're a commercial and residential roofing company. Currently, we're servicing Henderson, Kentucky, Owensboro, Kentucky, really the western northern part of Kentucky, and south end of Indiana. Yeah. My first and last name is Jake Gibson, and the web address is it's www.roofangel.com.
Again, for anybody out there that might have blacked out when they heard that, I think you said you went from 2 calls per week or 2 leads a week to 20 leads a week. Maybe I got that wrong. Could you maybe share again just how much of an increase you've seen in the leads in these first 120 days?
Yeah, the increase. I mean, what would that's like 400%, maybe more. Sorry, that'd be 1,000%, I guess, right? 2 to 20. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
the increase has been massive.
It's wild. It's wild. It's unbelievable.
People are mad at me. A lot of companies here, it's not just roofing companies, they're mad at me because they're like, what are you doing that we're not doing?
Okay, Aaron Antis, guess who's joining us for the December 4th and 5th, 2025 Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop?
Ooh, Santa Claus?
No, we will not be joined by Santa Claus, but we will be joined by Eric Trump, the son of the 45th and now 47th President of these United States. And yes, Amanda Grace will be in the place. And yes, Dr. Stella Manuel will be there, so you know it will go well. Yes, we have Mel K in the house. Pastor Phil and Tammy Hotson-Pillar will be hosting this event at their beautiful church right there in sunny Anaheim, California. Yes, folks, make this a December to remember. Make this a December to remember and join us at the 2-day interactive business growth workshops. For over 20 years, folks, I've been hosting business growth workshops where we're going to teach you marketing, sales systems, human resources, accounting, social media marketing, branding, sales training, search engine optimization, accounting, workflow development, financial management, all this and more. How do you get tickets? Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, how do you get tickets? Go to thrivetimeshow.com and request tickets today. And now Eric Trump, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States, and this just in from our home office, President Donald J. Trump is now the 47th president of these United States as well.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
He needed someone to run the companies for him. And so the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint.
Right.
I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second.
Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
And it ain't over now.
The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way. Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be in a tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here with...
There's a lot of togetherness and closeness, camaraderie.
So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. In anybody. Don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish speaking people that attend these conferences, and to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102.
That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years. So let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive into, so many people say, oh, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people throughout your career and thousands of contractors. And most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, you either have great people or you have people who suck. And so it can be a challenge. Learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then, you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. The way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities, and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks, and it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard. And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch. And this is also your opportunity to meet some of the great speakers like Pastor Dave Scarlett. You could meet Mel K. You could meet Amanda Grace. You could meet Dr. Stella Emanuel. You could just grab a coffee. You could find some alone time. You could get lost in the bathroom. You could try to go and get a photo with one of the speakers. You could try to photobomb a photo where someone else is getting a photo with the speakers. You could go attempt to find your phone, wallet, and your keys.
My phone, wallet, keys, yeah, phone, wallet, keys.
Whoa. Now that's a good idea.
Well, it's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, By default, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business.
It's tough.
But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. And this is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet. Whoa. Add to that, Eric Trump, the man that runs the Trump Organization. You say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring in the same food both days for lunch.
Who's with me? Let's go! Come on!
It's an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. Someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay, I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now, thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event. Again, the event's going to be on December 4th and 5th in sunny Anaheim, California. Great weather. Make this a December to remember. Eric Trump, the man who leads the Trump Organization. It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. I think that's going to change your life. I promise you, this will be 10 times better than that.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. That is, I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. I mean, it is life changing. It is life changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right.
Like,
Not really. So if you're looking to have life changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop in beautiful Anaheim, California.
I'm Kay Dixon. I'm from Sarasota, Florida.
I'm Vince Suzuki, also from Sarasota, Florida.
He dragged me here.
Yep, was here in 2018, and it changed my business, and I built another business, and now I'm here to do it again with this business. So.
Yeah, I'm a brand strategist, and it's been really easy to go to a lot of events like this and just leave really in your head like what to do next. And already there's the strategic, step-by-step, real-life implementation that we can do to our business, and I'm so grateful to be here and very excited that Eric Trump is here, and that is going to be epic.
Hi, my name is Erica, and it has been amazing being here. The conference, I'm learning so much. Everything is perfect for me.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him. Character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart, and I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good, and then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is.
And the greatest thing that'll come out of all of it, aside from winning the presidency of the United States, we'll get to that in a second, was an everlasting friendship between Clay and I, because I'm telling you, there's not too many people in the world that have this man's backbone and his tenaciousness and his perseverance. And so, buddy, I love you. And to General Flynn, thank you. You guys are incredible. You guys are incredible warriors. You guys are incredible, incredible warriors. So thank you, my friend.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
We're going to move into action mode here. So for anybody out there, if you say, I would like to go to Mar-a-Lago. Now, Jackson, you know that this just in, they raided Mar-a-Lago. You know about this? This just in. And so some people say, that wasn't cool. I didn't like that. But, so a lot of people out there, we want to kind of stick it to the New York Times. We want Eric to become the #1 best-selling author in America. And we kind of also want to go to Mar-a-Lago and check it out. We've never been there before. So what we're going to do is for anybody right now, if you go to Amazon right now and you buy a copy of Eric Trump's book, Under Siege, My Family's Fight to Save Our Nation. So you go to Amazon right now, you buy a copy of the book, and you just text a screenshot of your proof of purchase to my cell phone number, 918-851-0102. So text my number, 918-851-0102. So again, step one, you go here to Amazon.com, you buy a copy of the book, Under Siege, then you just text a screenshot of your purchase, your proof of purchase. You text my number, 918-851-0102. You have a chance to win a dinner at Mar-a-Lago with Eric Trump and myself, and there's more.
And by the way, Mar-a-Lago right there, just for your viewers, it's the most exclusive private club in the world. $2 million to get into, just base membership fee. And I promise we're going to make your night absolutely incredible. Clay goes, listen, why don't we do this? Why don't we put it out to all the amazing Reawaken people, all the people who supported us all around the country, all around, at every one of these conferences, who adore your family. We've got to beat the New York Times. The New York Times is going to do everything they can. Even though we're #1 on Amazon right now, we just hit #1 this morning. New York Times is going to do everything they can to keep you from being #1 bestseller. You know that, I know that, you know the games that they're willing to play. But Clay goes, why don't we do a couple of things? First of all, love having dinner with Clay. He's the greatest. Second of all, why don't we bring one of the amazing people that I guarantee you I've been in front of at all these events. Why don't we bring a couple to dinner at Mar-a-Lago? And I said, absolutely, consider it done. So I said they have to text you, Clay. They can't text me because we'll be getting 1,000 of these. But yeah, go buy a book, text Clay, and we'll set up a dinner. I'll make sure you guys have the absolute time of your life.
Now, I'm going to pull this up again one more time here, Jackson, because I think sometimes I'm a poor communicator, and I need to work on communicating more effectively. So you go to Amazon. That's step one, okay?
Yes.
You buy a copy of the book, Pop Quiz. What book?
Under Siege.
You buy a copy of Under Siege, and then you screenshot a picture of that, and you text my phone number. It's 918-851-0102. And folks, that is my cell phone number. So we'll keep that private between you and me and everybody. And then when you text that to me, you have a chance to win a backstage pass to the actual in-person business workshop. That's a business growth workshop, December 4th and 5th, featuring Eric Trump in Anaheim, California. And you have a chance to win dinner with Eric Trump and myself at Mar-a-Lago. Now, someone says, when does this contest end? Now, Eric, your birthday was hijacked. Okay, so your birthday was hijacked. January 6th is this man's birthday. He now has to switch his birthday because no one wants to talk about his birthday on January 6th anymore. So we're going to run this promotion until November 5th. That's my birthday. So we're gonna,
no. So we're going to run it till October 14th.
October 14th.
Has to be pre-sale.
This just in. It has to be between October 14th. That's why we're clarifying. So between now and October 14th. Now, folks, let me just clarify this real quick here. So make sure I'm leaving you with some good clarity here. One, you buy a copy of Under Siege on Amazon. That's the step one.
Yep.
Step two, you text a screenshot of that purchase to my cell phone number, 918-851-0102. Three, you have to do that before October 14th. Before October 14th, this just in. It has to be before October 14th. And you have a chance to win a backstage pass to the upcoming business workshop. You have a chance to have dinner with Eric Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And I want to tell you some benefits of buying the book. One, I've read the book. It's incredible. If you're a father out there and you want to learn about mentoring your kids, it's a great book. If you want to learn about American history, it's a great book. If you want to make America great again, it is a great book. It's a book you got to have.
Now here is just a quick editor's note. You do not have to buy a copy of Eric Trump's book Under Siege to be entered into the drawing. Whoa. Just text the number. All you have to do is just text the number 918-851-0102 and you will be entered into the drawing for a chance to win a copy of Eric Trump's book Under Siege and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to hang out with Eric Trump and Clay Clark at Mar-a-Lago and to win a backstage pass at the upcoming ThriveTimeShow.com 2-day interactive business workshop. Again, you do not have to buy a copy of the book to be entered into the drawing, but it would be great if you'd buy a copy of the book because that would make sense. However, that is all, and now back to the interview.
Also, Eric, a final question here for you. You are donating a portion of the proceeds to support Charlie Kirk in his continued mission there. Could you tell us about that briefly there, and then we'll let you get back to what you're doing today, sir?
Yeah, well, I was on with Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson was a great friend of Charlie Kirk's, as you know, and you know Benny, and Benny's a very good friend of mine, and, you know, Kash Patel is a very good friend of mine and was a very good friend of Charlie's. I mean, you watch everybody that's up on that stage every single day as they got to the bottom of exactly what happened, and they brought justice to what happened, or are trying to bring justice to what happened, and it's kind of unthinkable, but you know St. Jude, and I talk a lot about St. Jude in this book because that's been, you know, fighting pediatric cancer has always been a cornerstone of my life. But Charlie truly was the epitome of being under siege, not only in the movement that he helped create, but obviously in how his life was savagely taken. My book came out 2.5 days before Charlie's assassination. You better believe he would have been the final chapter of this book as just another illustration of what these people will do at any cost to try and win, because it's who they are. It's the not so tolerant left, and we can never let our voices be extinguished. Clay, you stood on that stage as well as anybody I've ever seen stand on a stage. You did at Reawaken events all across the country, which you funded out of your back pocket because you believed in America, you believed in a greater country, and you were on that stage every single day. You know, I was on that stage with you every single day, and I was on the Turning Point stage with Charlie all the time, and I was on stages across, the country, and 3 campaigns. I've stood on thousands of them, and honestly, they don't want us to stand on that stage. That's why they're sending bullets from rooftops. They don't want us to go out there with a bullhorn and have loud, independent thought. When they see these beautiful arenas full of kids and they're cheering, they're celebrating, they're holding American flags, they don't want that. And so they want to silence us. They want to silence our voice. That's why they killed Charlie. That's why they tried to kill my father. That's why they sent 112 subpoenas to me. That's why they wanted me in jail and my father in jail and Don in jail. That's why they made up the hoaxes. They wanted to see us destroyed and gone with no voice, with no money, with no company, with no political aspirations, gone. And we can't allow that to happen. And so we need to make sure that Turning Point continues. We need to make sure incredible patriots like you continue to spread, sensible speech, pro-American values, pro-religious, pro-constitutional values. And that's why I want to donate the funds to Turning Point. I want to donate, a portion of the funds to Turning Point, because we can't allow anarchy to win, and we can't allow voices to be deleted, and we need to keep Charlie's legacy going.
Eric Trump, thank you so much for joining us. Pastor Jackson, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Eric, have a great day. We really do appreciate you. Everybody go out there and buy that book, Under Siege. It's not too early to buy your Christmas gifts. And if you have a Democrat in your family, buy them a copy as well. Eric Trump, take care.
Thanks, guys. See you later.